Introducing Larry D. Reid.
All right. I hope you guys are able to hear me. Let me know that you can hear me before I start running off at my mouth and chit-chatting and talking. So let me know that you can hear me first, okay? Um, Hit like and hit share. Before we go into this conversation, I'm not going to be here with you long. There's some things that I have to do. Some things I have to I'll go and handle today before I do something that's totally different tomorrow. And then again, Saturday, something totally different. Then Sunday, I got something else to do. Then it's back to regular scheduled programming. First part of next week. There's so much going on. I'm in the middle of doing a few things. One of the things that I'm doing right now is working on a project that's going to be on your TVs on next year. And if you enjoyed the Larry Live platform, you are going to enjoy the project that I'm working on right now. I'm telling you, I'm working with people I have not worked with before, great Hollywood actors and people that are in the music industry. And it is very exciting, very different. I've never done it before, and I've never worked with these people before. So anytime there's an opportunity to work with different and new people, then I'm all for it if everybody's going to be on their game. And that's how this is. It's going to be great, going to be exciting. I need each and every one of you to hit like and to hit share as we're going into this conversation that Jada and Will Smith has is really causing us to have. I have been wanting to have this conversation before now, and I think this is a great opportunity to take this viral story and now bring it over here to my community. Now, those of you your first time tuning in, or maybe you just started following this page, my community is very unique, very unique, probably more unique than any other YouTuber that is out here or Facebooker, because I have people that are very, very conservative Christians. Then I have those that don't even identify as Christians anymore. And then there's those of us that like a merge of the old school and the new school. Um, that is what my audience is. Then there's everybody else that is in my audience. So this platform, although I may be a Christian and I may be as some areas conservative, some very liberal. Some things I see very sacred. Some I see as things not so sacred. So we're all here in this chat. So when it comes to this conversation, I need everybody to express your opinion and what you think in a way to where somebody can at least hear your side of the story and what you think without having to work through a whole lot of your craziness, rudeness. Okay, let's just try that. Now, let me start off this conversation with saying thank you to all of you that watch Larry Reid Live, that hit like, that hit share, that talk about the show, negative or positive. You're all advertisement. And I want to say thank you so much. And I want you to take a minute, sit right there and tell you how it came to I want you to take a minute and copy the link under this video, whether you watch it on YouTube or Facebook, and text it out to everybody and tell everybody to come and watch. And if you want me to text you before I go live, you need to text Larry Reid Live with no spaces to 33222 so that you will always be text before I go live and know what's going on. I want to say hello to all patrons that are watching. And if you are not a patron, you need to decide to become a patron by going to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Do it today and you will be so glad that you darn did. Okay, now let me give this precursor. I do not know if I have a filter now or not. Um, you may not know, but sometimes it's hard for me to sleep. I have this, probably the only issue I really have other than eczema is spasms. I get middle lower back spasms sometimes they come up on my shoulder. So I always get massages, and that troubles my sleep, which that's another problem I have, sleep. At 43 years old, I think that's good. other than eczema, these random breakouts with certain things, including my hair bump issue, which I got an ugly one right here now. I got one down there too, but I can't show y'all that one. It's the ugly one too. That eczema, spasms, and sometimes can't sleep. That's really the only issues that I have, and I'm thankful for that at 43 years old. Because a lot of people my age have had surgery at least one time or something else to happen to them, but that ain't happened to me. So as a result, sometimes I take a muscle relaxer. I've done that before. I've done an interview with the Pasco show, which that interview is going to air tomorrow morning on his YouTube channel. I was high during that interview. I had took a muscle relaxer, and the muscle relaxers, it take them a while to catch up. And so I took one yesterday that made me end up sleeping good last night, but I fell asleep during the day, and I can still feel this morning there's a little something still on me. So if I don't have a filter, I want y'all to forgive me of the words that I'm going to use right now. Can y'all let everybody in the chat know right now, for the new people, Larry is apologizing for what he's going to say. Just let them go ahead and know right now, because I don't know how much of a filter I got. And if I don't have a filter, I could say something a little sideways. It may shock you just a little bit and snatch your wig. And you may want to clutch your pearls. But just know it's because I've taken this pill and my filter has just lowered itself a little bit. So I may say something that might just shock you a little bit. It is Jada and Will Smith that is responsible for this conversation being held today at the kitchen table on today. So that is the reason why I'm going to discuss this. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm going to tell you what times we're going to put down our Bibles in order to have a conversation, because sometimes you have to do that, because everything ain't written in the book that was written 2,000 years ago. There's some things that just ain't clear. And so we can have the conversation within the pages of the book, the holy book, that us Christians believe is prophetic and mystical. And is right and good for doctrine and for our daily life. We see that book as that. We're probably going to have that conversation, and as well as a conversation that is current to 2021 that we're living in right now. So I need everybody to hit like and hit share. Only 85 of you have hit like and share between YouTube and Facebook. There are over 1,000 of you watching me now between YouTube and Facebook. I need everybody to hit like, hit share, because we are about to have the conversation. I want to say thank you in advance to those of you that will decide to donate to this platform while you're watching, because you're enjoying the conversation. All right, so the first thing that we got to do is to define what an open marriage is, because a lot of you think that people that are in open marriages are fucking everybody that they meet and everybody that they see. And that is not the case when it comes to an open marriage. Now, let me also put this out here as a caveat, that I'm also having this conversation with years of experience from counseling open marriages and swingers. Now, everybody type that in there. Open marriages versus swingers. Open marriages versus swingers. Because I think that's a huge misconception. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you that when I first counseled my first open marriage couple, I did think that they were swingers. The two got mixed up. And I think that needs to be discussed. Open marriages or open relationships versus swingers, they are not the same. Open marriages differ from swingers. Swingers can be single, or swingers can be a couple. Open marriages, there is no singularity. There's always a couple in a relationship, and they are having relationships with other people. This is totally different than swingers. Now, if I will put on my Bible bifocals, I would say all y'all nasty, and in adultery and fornication, you're on the way to hell. You're nymphos, you're nasty hoes. That's what I would say if I would put my biblication bifocals on. And I will look at the open marriages and look over there at the swingers, your fornicators, your children, your whores, your spirit of whoredom, nasty men, and all of that kind of going on. Just y'all going to hell. It's as simple as that. Get your house. Y'all don't know that if you're secular, but if you are sacred and secular, you should. You will know this song in a little bit. We got a little bit of church singing. You know that song. Oh, do it today. That's what I will be saying to you guys, because you're nasty. Because you're fricking and fricking and fricking. This one, that one, and the other. That's what I will say if I have my biblication bifocals on. But we're just having a conversation, so let me explain to you the difference. An open relationship or open marriage, these are two people who are in a relationship with each other because they want to be in a relationship with each other. Whether that is just a relationship or a marriage, they are together because there is a love that is there that they have not found anywhere else, cannot find anyone else, that is special and unique to them too. Swingers can be single, or they can be a couple that is swinging. And swinging is sex based, sex need based. And I know you may have a problem with saying sexual need, but let's just have the conversation. Swinging is a sexual need based, meaning that I need to have different type, multiple sexual experiences, which is human. Okay, let's type this out first. Type multiple sexual experiences is human. Multiple sexual experiences is human. It's not demonic. It's not improper. It's not the sign of an indwelling demon or any of that kind of going on. Everybody wants to have sex. Everybody enjoys having multiple sexual experiences. Now, for the swinger, let me tell you how it's different. Because just wanting to have multiple sexual experiences, orgasm here, little orgasm there, like a little dick every now and again, like a little thing every now and again. All of that is absolutely normal. It is human. Now, the need of multiple sexual partners, or if I say the desire to have multiple sexual partners, is a decision. Can y'all type that in there? Multiple sexual partners is a decision. Do I believe for some people it is a need? Yes, but I ain't gonna get into that. I just gonna take our conversation somewhere else. So multiple sexual partners is a decision. Multiple sexual experiences is human. When you make the decision that you want to have many sexual partners, we're talking on the swinging side. We're not talking about open relationship yet. We're gonna get the open relationship, but I'm trying to define one so that we can go into the right conversation with the open relationship, open marriages, because I think a lot of us get them mixed up. When we hear open marriages, oh yeah, we think swingers, but that's not really what it is. There is something emotional that is going on in an open relationship that is not happening over here in the swinger side. We are not talking emotions. Swinging is 100% sex. It's all about sex. Now, I'm not a swinger. I'm not in an open relationship. I'm single right now. I can do what hell I want to do. I can fuck whoever I want to fuck. But what I am saying is, I want you to be clear on this. And I think I can offer something to this conversation because of years of counseling, open relationships, and also swingers. So swinging is sex based. 100% sex based. It is your desire or your choice or your need for multiple sexual partners. And that is just sex based. Are we clear on that? I hope we are clear on this. I remember block this user. Okay. Somebody come over here advertising they miss. All right. So swingers, the conversation goes like this. I get turned on by watching my partner or other people in the sexual experience. And I like to see my partner, or I like to be in sexual experiences with others and be watched. I like to be in those experiences, and I like to see my partner getting sexually pleased by someone else. I get turned on by them getting turned on, even if it's not with me. I like to see my partner turned on. So that's 100% sexual. It's about looking at the faces that they make when they're about to climax. It's about the noises that my partner makes. Even if it's not with me, there's something, I'm just a little funny. I don't know what it is, but I just like to see my partner pleased. That's the animal in you. That is and it has its place. That's the animal in you. Let me be clear when I say, and the animal in you has its place, because I want nobody to feel like you're told that you're just the lowest thing in the earth. We're just trying to make it clear for everybody that's in this conversation. You're in your animal nature. I can't help but to think about a dog. I mean, you're just in the heat of what sex is. And that is as it is. It's just sex. And it's just the passions and the high, the lust. And I know a lot of you see lust as wrong. Lust is not wrong. Lust just has its place. But in the word of swinging, you talk about those sexual type kind of things that we normally when we think open marriage, we think orgies. But see, that go to the swingers world. That's not what open relationship and open marriages is about. You keep all of that over there in the swingers world. Over there in the swingers world, the group and that kind, and threesomes and foursomes. This is the world of swinging. Are we clear on this? When I say animal, I'm talking about the lowest form of your sexual humanity, which is pleasure based. Yeah, that's when I say that, that's what I mean. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say lowest form. Let me say one of the forms of your sexual nature. Maybe I shouldn't say lowest, because I don't want anybody to think, if you are a person where you have a high sex drive, I don't want you to demonize your sex drive. I want you to be in control of it. I want you to be able to manage it. I want you to be able to put it where it belongs. But I do not want you to feel bad about your desire to have sex, because it's not wrong. I just want to make sure that you're clear on this, that lust is not wrong, that passion is not wrong. Sexual energy, we cannot make it wrong. Okay, I want everybody to type, sexual energy is not wrong. Can y'all hear this if I turn this on? That thing, it warmed my feet up. Oh, I need that. Oh my God. Okay, I like what Markella asked. She says, so swingers have to watch their partner? I thought they could swap spouses too in private. See, that's another thing. We think that when we talk about open marriages, open relationships, or swinging, we think there's no rules. That every person and persons make up their own rules, whether they are swingers or they're in an open marriage or open relationship. What I really want, everybody type sexual energy is not wrong. What I really want all of us to understand. Now, I want everybody in this conversation, but you do not have to leave this conversation and then and leave here, and then you go and believe something different. It's all about you coming into the knowledge of how other people live and exist outside of yourself, so that when you at least engage these different people, you would have some kind of language and how to converse with them or understand what is happening in their world. So whether you are a swinger or whether you are in an open relationship or open marriage, you all have rules and limits according to who you are, what you want and desire. But when we think about the origin of this, on all of those type things and swapping out partners, that's swinging. And that is what happens in that world. Now, at the base of what is motivating this world, the swinging world, it is just sex. It's just sex. And sex and sexual energy is not wrong. And I want you guys to be clear on that. And I hope somebody that's in the church get delivered. I got to turn this thing on because my feet cold. I hope somebody in the church gets delivered from your religious perspective or the perspective that was put upon you, that your sexual drive, sexual energy that you have is wrong, because it's not. It is not. Sexual energy is not wrong. Okay? Somebody says, if a married couple wants to be swingers or open, is not my business. Now, there are married couples who do swing, but they do not have open relationship. So I'm going to make you understand. I'm going to try to help you understand what is happening in our world. Okay? So I hope my mom and them is watching, because so they can understand, because they may not understand. So that is that. I think we define swinging good enough and put the word sex all over it so we can understand that. Now let's come over here to open marriages and open relationship, Jada and Will Smith. Let's deal with the conversation he had for the interview with GQ. Because as far as I know, I only been in this kind of work since 2016 officially, but I've been talking about stuff online that happened at work since 2010. But I want to deal with the conversation. In the conversation he had with GQ, he basically said, I did not want to be in a marriage, or I did not want my wife to be in a marriage where she felt like she was in prison. Now, I want to say this, and this is the thing that I really want to say for those of us that are Bible thumpers, paper Bible saved. That's me. I'm secular, but I'm paper Bible saved. The thing that I want to say, and I've seen this, a lot of married people are in prison. And I can say this because I can have this conversation with my parents, and I have. For instance, my father is in prison, been married to my mom. Why? My father wants to see the world. My father wants to travel. My father thinks outside the box. My father is a traditional pastor. He's traditional and conservative, but in comparison to what other people think and feel that are pastors at 68 years old, my father's pretty open-hearted and open-minded. My mom is not. Everything is the devil. Everything is unholy. Everybody going to hell. You know, ain't nobody saved. You know. So somebody said, what's secular Bible say? Meaning that I'm raised old school and have a whole lot of old school beliefs. I still pick up my paper Bible and read it. I'm not in this digital Bible like you guys are. But at the same time, I have an appreciation for new ways of thinking and operating as well. So that makes me secular paper Bible say. Secular, but paper Bible say it all at the same time. So my mom does not think that anything, you can't do nothing. No earrings, no makeup, no skirt shorter than your knees. You ain't got no business showing this. You ain't got no business showing that. You ain't got no business watching this. You ain't got no business doing. It's all these different things. And because my mama she also don't think that well of flying in the air. I don't know if it's spiritual, but she thinks getting on a plane. I ain't getting on no plane. If God wanted me to fly, He'd give me wings. But my father has been on the plane. He wants to go different places, but he can't because at the age now, he can't drive long distances. so my father is in prison. So this is what I want to take from the first part of what Will Smith said that I think we can all learn from. And I think it's very important for you to be able to learn from anybody, even if you don't agree with them. And when he said that, I thought that it was a great comment. He said he did not want his wife or himself to be in prison. A lot of you that are married, you are in prison. And it's because you allow what your significant other think or feel to replace or control how you think. You lose your individuality and your duality. When the reality is that the reality of duality is individuality. You need to always maintain your singularity, even in plurality. You have to maintain your personal identity. And a lot of people, especially us Westerners, when it comes to marriage, we go into marriage and we develop an entire different personality than what we originally were before we got with this person. A personality that can stay married to the person that they have married. That is creating a prison for your personal identification. Your identity is just put in a box, your true identity rather. And then you create this other one, project this other one that can stay married. And I see people do that a whole lot, and it's not good. I did it. The mother of my children, she did it as well. We've had a conversation here live about that before. I hope that you saw it. So, and those of you that cannot have this conversation that I'm having, it says to me that you really do not believe what you believe, because you should be able to have a conversation and still walk away believing what you believe. You should be able to have this conversation and still know that monogamy is for you. It's not monotonous for you. Monogamy is best for your head. It's best for your heart. It's best for your spirit. What the Bible has pointed out, the New Testament part, not the Old Testament part, the New Testament part of the Bible, what is pointed out for marriages, and that's what you want to follow. You hold to that and you keep that. But you need to understand that if you're in the business of people, you're going to need an education about how other folk out here living, set that you. It ain't all about you and how you live. If you're supposed to be evangelizing the world and the whole world, and you've been sent to the nations, but then you can't have a conversation with the way that other people are living and thinking, then get the hell up off my live and go and do whatever you want to do. All right, so all right, so that's that. So then he goes on to say in the GQ conversation, and we ultimately understand that he is alluding to the fact that him and Jada are in an open relationship. Now, if you understand what an open relationship is, now you can understand that her situation with Augustus, what's his name, how this became a situation. Because in an open relationship, you're talking about two people that are in a relationship physically, sexually, and mentally, spiritually, and psychologically. They are tied. But the open aspect of the relationship says, I can have other relationships with other people. Okay, let's see the master relationship here. That's the best way for me to describe it. The master tie. The master tie. I want everybody to write the master tie, T-I-E. The master tie. So you have the master tie, which is Jada and Will. And we're going to play with this. So any other relationship that I have is going to come under or second to this relationship I'm having with my main spouse. Now, let me give this caveat. This is not the way that all open relationships do their relationships. A lot of them, they say, every person I am with, they're just as important as the other. Because they're different strokes for different folks. But I'm going to explain it like this so you can understand that world better. So you have the master relationship. It's almost like with the sister wives things. You have the first one, and then every other one comes after that. But this is the oldest, and all the sister wives look up to the oldest wife. It's sort of the same thing in an open relationship. Most open relationship, everyone is different. to where that main marriage, Will and Jada, every other relationship that they have, they may fall into. It's not like they're going out there looking for another relationship because there's something wrong in their current relationship. Does that happen? Yep, it does in open relationships. But it's not like they're looking for, just in the course of life, especially if you get with somebody you 19, 18 years old or very young like Will and Jada, and now you are 20, 30 years in a relationship and you've lived life in between there, careers have changed, situations have changed, and you met other people, and now 8, 9 or 10 years of knowing other people, now you have a relationship with them. What you're supposed to do is come back to the master relationship and say, okay, this is what is developing, and this is the relationship that I have with this particular person, and you're open about it. This is where that word open relationship come from. And Will was trying to explain this in the GQ conversation, but I didn't think he did a great job with it from what I saw. I don't know if I got part of the conversation or what. The open part of the relationship is firstly honesty. Okay, can y'all put open equals honest? Let's do the equal sign. Open equals honest. Open equals honest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the reality is that most of you that are in traditional marriages are missing the open, honest aspect in the relationship. And normally it is because of some personal issue that one or both of you have with being honest about your negatives and your positives, your good, your bad, your easy to understand and not so easy to understand, your needs and your wants. So, and it is impossible to have a successful open relationship. When I say successful, I'm not talking paper Bible. I am talking relatively. It is impossible to have an open relationship and it to be healthy and successful if there is a lack of open. You have to have the honesty aspect. So let's suppose Will and Jada, and so they're working now, they're traveling, they're raising the kids, but in between there, maybe the assistant that Will got that's with him all the time, everywhere he go, now they're developing something. And they have a relationship, and sometimes they're sexual. So Will has to let Jada know that this is what is happening, this is what is going on. Now, in some open relationships, the other person does not want to know. They know they're in a relationship, but they do not want details, do not want to know who it is or however. As long as when they put their hands on you to need you, you're there. As long as there's no sacrifice they have to make as relates to your relationship, it don't even matter. There's a whole lot of you first ladies out there in an open relationship, and you don't even know it. And some of you do know it. You just don't ask no questions. You don't have open in the front of your marriage, but that's what you know you in. And so it really depends on the people that are in it, on where they set their rules. Because remember, I said for open marriages, open relationships, and swingers, everybody has their own rules. I remember there was this couple that have an open marriage. And in their open marriage, they really did not want anybody to have an emotional connection with the person that they decided they want to sleep with. Now, it took us a whole lot of work to get to that statement I just made. And when we got to that statement, I said, look, maybe you should look at yourselves as a couple that really is into swinging, because you don't want this particular person to have any emotional connection with nobody, but you don't mind having a third person coming into your married bed and y'all having fun with them. I said, that is more so what swingers do. I said, because in an open relationship, it's more so about an actual relationship that is that is happening with somebody else that is actually emotional. And so both of you are able to have one or two other relationships that you may be emotionally and sexually involved in. And it falls under you guys as master relationship. That's what open relationships look like. And you guys, I've even counseled somebody that was in a polygamous relationship, which is an entirely different thing. But I said, but y'all just want to have sexual spice sprinkled on your married bed, then y'all just need to identify yourselves as a married couple who swing every once in a while. You let somebody else come in the bed, and both of them were supposed to know the person that, and both of them were supposed to be involved in the act that they would do with that particular person. But one of these people broke the rules, and versus me coming in and saying, "Well, this the devil anyway. You ain't got no business doing this." I began to get them to be honest about where their sexuality fit. I said, you sound like you're right at this stage in your life, you're swinging. That's a whole nother thing. You can have an open relationship, and then that relationship, as time goes on, you realize, okay, this doesn't work for one of us no more. So then you change the dynamic, and then you may go into swinging and then say, okay, that don't work anymore, and then you end up in a traditional relationship anyway, which I've seen that happen quite a bit, because we're all growing and evolving. But let me tell you this: swinging, an open relationship. Now we already know biblically that ain't it's New Testament, not Old Testament. Old Testament got stuff going on in this. New Testament definition of marriage, we know what that is. But let me say this: you really do not need to be bringing anybody into your married bed, whether you are a swinging couple or open relationship. However those rules may be, you really do not need involving anybody else in your relationship purposefully, because it does make it difficult, and it does make it harder many times for one or the other partner, because relationships always reveal things. And you could be with somebody, great master relationship, and get with somebody else and realize something about yourself because you're relating to this person, and so it's pulling something different out of you. And that could frustrate your master relationship, because you may realize in this evolution you've changed and you became somebody else. So that is an easier process of evolution and changing to go through with your master relationship. And not go and create all these other relationships that end up being data collection for you to realize who you really are, what you really want. It can get really messy. You can lose years of your life, your time. You can have children by other people. You can end up with several different STIs, that you got to manage for the rest of your life, because you were using the sexual bed and relationships to get to know yourself more, which naturally happens. So my advice to all of you is to, when you get in a relationship and there's somebody that you really love and you want to connect with, stay with those people and go through the journey with them. Get you a counselor and get a therapist to talk with both of you and share openly. Have an open conversation aspect in your relationship so that you can discuss any and everything. And if you do that, you're going to end up with a healthy relationship. It may not be the traditional Christian marriage that we know about and that we believe and we practice, but however your relationship is, it'll be healthier because there's open, equal honesty. There's honesty in the relationship. I'm going to say this for those marriages that are traditional. It would be a great thing, and please don't go do this because y'all be messing your life up. It would be a great thing that for you to be able to go and tell your spouse, when we're not having sex, or even when we do have sex, that I watch porn. And I use porn and I masturbate. And I do this separate from our relationship. If you are watching porn and masturbating, you need to tell your significant other. This needs to be something that they know about. Let me be very clear. Write this down. Say, porn is cheating when not discussed. I really feel like I'm going into my counseling degree, because I do this all the time. Porn is cheating when it's not discussed. Can y'all put that in there? Porn is cheating when it's not discussed. It is. It is cheating. You know why? Because that energy that you're getting from pornobation, that is an entirely different relationship than the one you are having with that significant other in the physical. That relationship is ethereal. It is in the invisible, but it's still a relationship. Porn is cheating when it's not discussed, and anything. I'm not even gonna get into that because it takes too far. So those of you that are in a traditional marriage, it's good for you to take that aspect of open relationship and open marriages. You need to pull this out of Jada and Will's relationship. You need to start being more open about your needs, your wants, and your desires. But let me say this, I don't want you to go mess your life up. You know who you married. You do know when y'all got married. You know where your spouse head is as relates to marriage. I don't want to cause you to bust your marriage up. So go into therapy, go into counseling, and slow walk your relationship into a space to where you can be completely honest, so that you don't lose this person or disrupt your life. Because the reality is, most of you that are watching me that are married, you're lying to your spouse, and you're not being honest about what you want to do or what you are doing personally, and how it pleases you. It doesn't frustrate y'all relationship, and actually makes you better and enjoy the relationship more, but they just don't know about it. Because you could be watching the porn to get turned on enough to actually go have sex with your spouse who no longer turns you on. So that's a conversation you need to have with them and let them know that this is what you're doing, and you're okay with that, and you don't want to not be with them. But you're going to need counseling and slow walk them to that kind of conversation. I don't know, did somebody put it in a book somewhere, but it really do seem like that, especially for men, that we all know that when you get married, you got to start lying. And you can't be honest about your wants and your needs and what you desire. So that's one thing that you can take from this whole Jada and Will thing, to be very open. Now let me see what's going on in this comment section, because it look like y'all see they got something going on in here. Now let me say this to the women that are in this, that some of the things that I'm probably saying is really hard. For you. Now look at Paulette Poole. I hate to open up the reading room, but I feel something coming. She said, "Stop, Larry, with your foolishness. Maybe Hada and Jada and Will can work for your marriage." Because I'm having the conversation in the community and talking to everybody, Paulette Poole has a problem with me that's discussing what's happening in our community. This is so dumb. And this is what I don't want y'all to start doing, because somebody's having the conversation or somebody is expressing to you how they feel or what they're going through and their plight and whatever, that you automatically you go to this defense of your personal belief. If you believe something, you don't have to defend it. But if you're struggling to practice something that somebody told you to believe, then you have to defend it, because you're literally protecting the hard work that you have already done and convincing yourself that this belief that somebody told you to believe is true. And you don't want nobody to mess up your hard work, because you building it like you building that false sense of belief and what you were told to believe. You're building it like building blocks, and when somebody start talking something, that it start troubling and all of it starts shaking. When you believe something, you believe it. You don't have to protect it. So Paulette Poole, you can go to hell. All right. Let me see what else has been said in here. I am getting highly annoyed. I'm trying to stay focused with these comments. Ain't it a shame? Sometimes you have to watch me and just do not look in the comment section, because these hoes come out the blue and come into my chat and want to come over here and run their mouth in my chat. Fuck you and your mama and your daddy with a dirty peen. So that's that. Okay, so I'm not going to waste my time, talking to them people, and I'm going to talk to those of you that want to have a conversation. So let me make sure that we are clear. When it comes to open marriages and open relationships, you're dealing with emotional ties, spiritual ties, psychological needs. When you're dealing with swinging, orgies, threesomes, foursomes, you're talking about the animal nature in the human for sex and to nut and to come and to have a great orgasm. That is what swinging is about. And both of these worlds have rules that are according to the two people that are in them. And if you can set your rules and you're mature enough to handle it, and you have open, remember I told you all the time, open equals honest, and you can have open and honest conversation, it can work for some. For a lot of us, it will not work. I will probably say, for most Westerners, it's not going to work. But this new generation coming up, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the traditional marriage no longer be the majority. It's not going to be a traditional relationship, one person with one other person. It's not going to be the majority. It's just not going to be. Look at this OJ Swanigan. This is another fool that I need to go to hell and never come back. If you think Larry Live is your church services, then you a dumb nigga. And I don't have nothing to do with you being a dumb nigga. Larry, if you continue this foolishness, your talk show is going to lose all the credibility. Stop entertaining, promoting this foolishness. I'm not promoting it. I'm having a conversation about what's happening in your world. Where the hell you live? Everybody where you live, there are people that are totally different. And you can't have a conversation with them because you're a complete asshole. And it don't make, excuse me, because you have a problem with having a conversation about something you don't agree with. What is, that's a psychological issue. I can't think of the name of that brain disease when your brain only wants to rehearse over and over what it already knows it has experienced. And that's what happened in most churches. You go to church and you hear the same thing. You say, oh, the word was good this Sunday. When really it's just a regurgitation of something that was already said before. And you are literally responding to what already is in the inside of you. And you're calling that a spiritual experience, when that is 100% emotional. And an experience with glory makes you fall dead. That's everywhere in the scripture. So when glory show up, it does not match the level that you're at. And it actually causes you to acquiesce and ascend to a different thought. And that's why apostles and prophets can't sit in churches, because most churches are only wanting to nibble around in the green pastures and never have to go by any moving water, only still waters. And that's the life for sheep. I don't even want to start even having that conversation, because y'all really ain't ready for that conversation, because you like being sheep in churches. But this ain't church. So we come over here and have conversation. Absolutely. That's what we do. And this is a truth, Amy. Half of these folk already in open marriages, whether they know it or not. But if you understand the definition that I gave for open marriage, they're not in open marriage, because an open marriage is an honest tie. You've been honest, 100% truthful with what it is that you have going on. Okay? Alton Stevens said, y'all stop this mess. Y'all's bishop been with his secretary for the last 20 years and y'all niggas still support. But see, the thing with that, Alton, is that that's okay if he's with the secretary, as long as it's not said that he's with the secretary and he don't confess it. then it's okay. I want you to act like you are this perfection that you're not. In an open marriage, this is how this will go, Alton, with the bishop that's been with his 20-year secretary. He will go to his wife and say, baby, I have been with this woman. If it's open, to my open, equal honest, and I've been having sex with her. I do not love her the way that I love you. I love you. I love you, but I've been with her. Now, that woman can make a decision right now what she want to do as opposed to keep living a lie. That's where we need to extract out of the conversation that Jada and Will had, that Will have with GQ, and begin to have an honest relationship. An honest relationship. Okay? Oh, let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Watching porn with my significant other is fun. It just allows me to turn the heat up higher than what we are watching. To be honest, we have better sex than what's on the porn. Okay? That works for her relationship. And I'm gonna say this to you, Vivian. Just make sure that it is bringing the best out of both of you guys, and that it is not robbing or stealing either one of you, and nobody's doing it for the other person. Just make sure you keep the openness in your relationship, having the conversation, because you don't want to be doing something that is not good for the other person as well. Now, I have my own personal feelings about porn, but they're my personal feelings. So I'm not going to throw my personal feelings out here on you, but I'm just saying. But let me say this as Vivian said it, and this is going to make some of you upset. If you can't watch porn with the person that you are sleeping with, and sleep with them too, and enjoy it like as a group, then probably your relationship with porn is very selfish for you. Especially if your significant other doesn't want to watch porn and sleep with you, or don't want to watch porn together. You're gonna have to respect that that's not what they want to do, and have a conversation and find out, is this something that you need, or is this something that you desire? Now, multiple sexual experiences is human, but multiple sexual partners is a decision. And pornography for some people could be a decision that they make every day or a few times a week, or whatever the reason. So we need to find out your relationship with porn. Is this an addiction you want your spouse to participate in? That may not work like that. And so you're going to have to get counseling, because every relationship is different, and the relationship is as different as you are as an individual. So you're going to have that kind of conversation. But I think what I've said here today is good enough for you guys to keep a conversation going amongst yourself. I think it's good enough for you to have a conversation with yourself or with your significant other. To just consider being more open in your relationship about what you want and what you need. But remember, don't be messing up your relationships and your marriages because of what I done said. Take that thing slow, and don't go in there into the night and let me go ahead and tell you, baby, I've been sleeping with somebody for 2 years, or you're gonna. If you want to keep them, you're probably going to have to go to the therapy office and have that conversation with a third party, and approach it as if it's something that you want to keep and maintain. Somebody said, I'm curious, how can porn bring out the best in someone? Porn is saturated with idolatry. The idols are lust, greed, and covetousness. Okay, let me say this. I don't know how to say your name. It's not for you. And I like the fact that you said, I'm curious on how it brings. We would have to get somebody to come up here that will be open enough to tell us, what does it do for you? A little alcohol can do that too, Ray. Why is church afraid to talk about sexuality? Because I think because they don't have the education to do so. Avoiding these conversations is part of the reason why church has the highest divorce rates. Very interesting. Right now, I think we may be more sex than the world is actually, which would make sense. If we're having a transcendent experience every time we come together, it will make sense. Okay, then somebody said we avoid the conversation because we get crucified. Oh, thank you, Anne. Thank you. That's the whole point of me coming up here. Said no lie, I just learned a lot. Lisa says she's sitting in the on the back pew learning. Oh my God. Let's see what she says. Contrary to popular belief, people are hurt more in traditional marriages, usually because it's shameful to voice one's true desires. Multiple partners isn't a game. It's just frowned upon because it's not what we were taught. I'm not pushing either way. I'm just respectful of people's choices, even if it's not something I don't agree with. Understand? Me too. Alternative lifestyles are very successful for many, just like traditional marriages are for some. It just depends on the individual. Agreed. You speak in my heart because I know what I want for myself. Crystal says she just hit for comments. I need everybody to hit like and hit share before you leave. Somebody said this is real talk. This has been happening in the world. It has. That's right. The central is this flip side. Yeah. Larry King, you view Michael Baston. He discusses this topic with transparency. Oh, I didn't know that. I've seen him in my chat before. Invite a sex therapist on. I do that for patrons. Out here, getting a sex therapist on is not gonna be as the conversation is just not gonna be as. It's like I'm bringing this conversation I had today. I normally would have with patrons. Kendall having to block this one and getting off into other conversations. This only happened out here where the trash is at. The topic bring in the trash, but when we are in Patreon to have these conversations and have experts over there, we can have a totally different conversation. It's almost like the young lady whose message I posted. She said, "I'm curious. I want to know what makes them." That's the kind of conversation we have in Patreon. It's for the curious, not out here fighting. Everybody fighting for what to believe. This is definitely a conversation for patrons, but I'm trying to get the conversation started out here. Yep. All right. I'll let you guys go. I don't know who the Michael guy is personally, but I wouldn't mind. Somebody said Patreon is 100 times, but it is. Because we can have the conversation differently. We actually get somewhere in the conversation. This right here, what I feel like has happened when I started talking about this and we having a conversation, it got hijacked with that foolishness, which is my fault because I could have ignored it. Larry, you are speaking nothing but facts on this topic and how the church folk act about sex. Yeah, I'm trying to create a conversation because my job is to be a bridge. So I want you guys to, you don't have to change your practice and what you believe. You just got to be able to have a conversation with those that believe differently than you and to have some level of understanding. I mean, ain't that the whole point? Ain't that the whole point of all of this? And for us to be better, put our arms around each other and understand. That's what I thought. At least that's what I thought. Larry Live, emotional attachments and soul ties can create problems. Okay, but and not they can, because like I told you, a relationship is going to pull something out of you. It's going to show you something about yourself. And relationships can grow you and mature you. They can damage you. So what I noticed is that when those type problems begin to show up in an open marriage or open relationship, then typically the love between those two people cause them to like, okay, we're not going to do the whole open marriage no more. We're going to go to counseling. We're going to really get into each other because we need to grow each other. Because we have problems with honesty. We have problems with, so many other things that practicing having a relationship with other people in addition to our relationship is just going to create a whole lot of craziness. I do not think that open marriages, polygamy, swinging, and things of that nature is the majority right now, and I don't think it's for everybody. I really don't. Okay. Wait a minute. What is that? That's not me. I didn't type that. Can y'all find whoever that is and make sure y'all block them in the chat? Be careful. Make sure you don't do it. It looks like that's YouTube. I have the check. So whoever doesn't have the check is not me. Y'all need to report that page. I think I just blocked them. Man, people are getting crazy out here in these streets. Okay, this is me right here. That's me. And that's Larry Reid. But you see how they have that look like theirs, but that's me. All right. I'll let you guys go. You have a great day. If you enjoyed this today, make sure you leave us a donation, and I'll chat with you later. All right, bye.